And welcome back to Barcelona, and we have had a brilliant time off camera. We're dominating everybody, creating chances, scoring goals, dominating possession, and just destroying everybody. We left off with a couple of games here, and since then we had a couple of draws in the Champions League, but that's been rotated players. Had a couple of draws in the Champions League, but that's involved with us rotating players and that kind of stuff. It's not too much of an issue. The tactic has been tweaked quite a bit again. Well, not to say quite a bit, but I guess there's been lots of small tweaks rather than an overhaul, as it were. So it currently looks like this. Now, the only problem I currently have with it in its current form, major problem, is this player here. So what Gaia tends to do is on inverted back defend, is in the build-up, he'll go central and then block the passing lane from Garcia straight out to Ansu Fati. So he goes central and sort of gets in the way. It doesn't really do anything. So that's a slight issue. We've then got, now with the half-back coming in between the two centre-backs, I've now got the right centre-back on stay wider. So let's see how that plays out. Well, this is still an issue here. So we're going to go to wing-back defend. Let's try that, I guess. I'm not really sure about this role. Whatever I do for this role has a negative somewhere. So that's definitely a current problem with our setup. Everything else is pretty much the same. It's only been a few little tweaks here to some player roles, that kind of stuff. So that's how we're going to line it for today, apart from not team-wise. Eric Garcia can come out and Guardiola can play because he's not fully fit. But that's been pretty much it, to be honest. Like, stats like this. Average possession 62%, pretty good. Passes completed, slightly down on Celta Vigo, but we have a game in hand, and we should easily overtake them with that, with the one game in hand that we have. So what's weird is we played against them off camera, and we beat them 2-0, but the possession was pretty even. I don't know what they're doing. I'd have to have a look at this closer. But they got 51% possession against us, and they played like a flat 4-4-2. And it was just incredible. I couldn't believe the amount of possession they had against us. It was impressive, really. But they keep a lot of dead possession. So even though their passes completed is high, and they've got high possession, a lot of it's in dead areas. But they're doing all right with it. But I'm going to suggest this probably is like a one-season wonder. A bit like Real Sociedad. They did well for a season, didn't they, with their average possession? Now it's gone way back down, and their results are plummeting along with it. Defensively, expected goals against 5.49. That is incredible in 12 matches. And we're right on it, pretty much. So if you round to the nearest whole number, that's exactly it. The notable things that picked up off camera, the inside forward is looking really good with a women playmaker. It's still working quite well there. This, I've had a few tweaks with. Pedri seems to work better when this is an inverted wing back. I don't quite know why, but his movement seems to change a little when this is an inverted play. Maybe he's recognising that he's in this sort of zone. I'm not quite sure, but it does seem to. It just feels like that's what's happening. But it could just be the games that he's played in when I've changed it. So there is that. But let's see how this goes today. This is the first time I've done this setup exactly on camera, or even off camera, to be honest. So we're going to play against Atletico Madrid, who are going to play probably an absolute disgraceful formation against us. I'm going to guess they're going to play that 3-5-2 that's really a 3-6-1, is my guess. Simeone is still the manager. The manager says, yeah, whatever, media. Let's see what they play. Yep, as I predicted, they are playing the 5-3-2, but with one striker as a 10. So, good fun. If we score first, game over. They have to hope that we don't score. I like here for Lazari. Lazari has it on the right hand side, plays it back to Gavi. It's going to be hard to pick up too much tactically from this because nobody else is going to set up the way that they do, So it's hard to learn too much. But, maybe in the Champions League, play against a 3 at the back system, but not this one, I wouldn't think. Ansu Fati, Gaia, and Ndombele. Gavi shoots terrible. Gavi has it to Ndombele, and Ndombele plays it back to Gvardiol, to Jose Gaia. And just looking at this here, I'm liking the fact that he's at a slightly better angle. Now that should still allow Ansu Fati or Pedri, one of them can now make this run into the half space. Which one's going to go for it? Oh, lads, come on. One of you had to make the run a bit better than that. Come on. Frustrating. Ansu Fati, Gaia, Pedri, nearly worked still, but annoying. I like here for Atletico Madrid. They play it shorts, and they're going to probably punt this forward at some point. Correa gets it. They lose the ball now. Pedri springs the counter attack. Looks at Mokoko. Goes on the outside. Looks to link up with Lazari. Plays it across. I hate that. I'm hating these switch. I'm hating these switch passes. It must be down to this. The fact that they're asked to play too wide. Who was it? It was Lazari, wasn't it? I'm going to say take fewer risks. See if that changes his behaviours. Continues here, by the way. This is still their highlight from what we just saw, us giving the ball away. Carrasco has it. Plays it back to Saul. It's going to look to go right. We're pretty much set. They have an overload on the right hand side. Llorente has it. Pereira, and that should be the end of that. Trying to get him to like be behind the play when it's being developed. Like when Lazari pings it across, he should be looking to get on the ball. And I think that sometimes this role doesn't quite work. He seems to just sort of be too close to the centre backs and they never really go involved properly. So we're going to go back to deep line playmaker defends. And ball playing defender here. Try that. I like for Atletico Madrid. They whip the corner in. It's headed away. Hopefully we can press this and try and win the second ball here, can we? Nope, shot over. Half-time we're going to say keep going. Half-time we're going to say keep going. We can still win this if you work hard as a team. And there's a highlight immediately here for Atletico Madrid. Now they're going to play it across and give it away because we're going to be too good for them, I think. They're going to give it away here. At some point they give this away. Savic has it. Yeah, here it comes. Ready? Here comes the big punt. Oh, there was one. Oh, didn't get to it. Oh, Lazari gives it away and gets himself a yellow card. Barcelona going to recover the ball here. Lacroix looks to see now. What is Gavardio there? Ndombele's there. Lazari and Mukoko are a little bit in the same line. They're getting off it now. Gavardio has it. Pulls it again. Got your Pedri, got your Gaia, and your Ansu Fati here. So once it goes there, the first thing I'd like to see is you get right onto this defensive line and get into feet and travel with the ball. And then you just start moving forwards here. Pedri, right? Yeah. So, because if it goes to his feet, you can then be shut into the half space. Let's see what they do. The Pedri's a bit late, but it might get there now. Okay, gets there now. Good enough. Too slow, Pedri. Way too slow. Way too slow. That's annoying. But we get there in. Mukoko. Oh, we'll take it, though. What a finish from Mukoko. I probably should let that whole thing play out, really, because that was a brilliant finish from Mukoko. What a move in the end. And Ndombele to Lacroix, who's now ball-playing defender, plays it, maybe because he plays it quicker now to Lacroix, then plays a great pass into Mukoko. That's fantastic. That is top-class football. 1-0. Zari plays it into Erling Haaland. That's going to be 2-0. It's not offside. Bit of a waste of our time if it is offside, because it was not really necessary. Erling Haaland's going to come off. Patson Daka's going to come on, and Ansu Fati off. Gelson Martin's on. Chance here. Lazari to Ndombele, who looks better in the deep line playmaker role. Gives it to Pedri. Pedri's got to cut this across to someone. Gives it to Gelson, who's just come on. Terrible effort. Absolutely terrible effort, Gelson. Right, Gavi's going to come off, and we're going to throw on... In fact, do you know what? No, let's take off Pedri. He's been absolutely rubbish in this game. Let's put Frankie de Jong at left central midfield. I'm not going to go defensive. We don't need to. They're already playing so defensive. We may as well stay on top and press them and just pin them back still in possession. There's no need to drop off here against them. Lacroix, Daka, Gelson Martins. We scored 2, definitely not. Gelson Martins, penalty kick referee. It's going to be a penalty. And Erling Haaland, oh no, he's not on the pitch. I don't know who's going to take this. Gelson Martin's going to take it himself. It was a Barca. The undefeated season is still intact. 64% possession. Dominated the game from start to finish, haven't we? Been one in control. Gavardio has it to Gelson. Gelson's going to look to play it back to Livakovic. I think deep line playmaker is still better for this player. And I think that playing him on less risky passes is the way to go. From what we've seen. Having a forward on attack duty seems to make them press slightly better as well. So we've got one midfielder and one forward on attack duties. I know the left forward is the one that press, but I feel like generally it seems to allow our players to press better than just 2 supports, 2 attacks. But there we are. Kondogbia has it. He's going to put the ball in the box. Correa hits the bar. It's over. They have it 2-0 victory for Football Club Barcelona. It's not really about us being challenging matches and whether we're going to win or not anymore, is it? It's more a case of how close are we getting the tactic to the recreation. That's all we're looking at in these games. And it's the last game for the winter break now, so we're going to play against AC Milan. It's going to be the last game in the Champions League before the long break for the Winter World Cup. So let's see how we get on against AC Milan, who hopefully will play like a slightly more progressive attacking system against us. See you in a second for that. Welcome back. This is the team. Let's get into this. Like every time I think there's a problem, I feel like I'm still able to improve the tactic. There's going to be a time though I have to accept that it's as close as it's going to get, but I'm not sure we're there yet. And with the potential new patch coming out soon, you know, there's still lots of time for tweaking and improving, so that's going to be interesting to see. Corner early on here for AC Milan. Could be a goal, actually. It's a weird time to do a highlight, and the way it's done it, oh, it was close. Jesus. Bar twice. Free kick to Barcelona. Gaia plays it early to Gavi. Gives it back to Gaia. Just play it back in here. Lazari gets it. Early one in here. Ndombele. Gavardio. Lacroix. Gavardio. Lazari. That's okay. Stay. That's not okay, is it? Oh well. I mean, we might score from it. I would almost have given it to him, but I just think it was really. I just didn't think that was necessary from the keeper. He could have kept that and kept us dominating the ball there. Also possession, but expected goals is very low, and theirs is pretty high. So this isn't looking good for the Champions League, as they miss a chance there. There are a lack of chances created here by Barcelona. Diaz whips it in, headed over. Guy gets onto the ball, plays it to Ansu Fati. Makes a late movement in, does Gaia. I'm still not sure about his movements at all. But Busquets gets onto it to Xavi. Xavi to Messi. Messi plays it across to Etu. Brilliant goal again. It's not just that we're doing well, it's the type of goals we're scoring as well. Just absolutely incredible football. You can almost just see it there a little bit, couldn't you? I mean, and I'm so pleased he did that. And he didn't just dribble it across and cross mirror or shoot. 1-0. I like for Barca, Gaia throws it into Haaland. Haaland's going to hopefully play us back. We're going to whip the cross in. Terrible. Ring it here with Lazari. Lazari's going to have the ball. He's got play less risky passes on. That's interesting. So Guardiola gets onto it. It's right. We've got it out, but it just worries me that when the ball goes across here, there needs to be somebody in here. Like our Iniesta needs to be in a position where he can just get on the ball and go. But he just seems to stand there and get marked by this player and still screen the ball in here. So central forward attack, would that put him up here? Would that keep him more central? I know they've still coming across the pitch. He goes there. That's like if he's going to go there and chuck this player out, then you're looking for this player to go bang, coming all the way in here and make a ball straight through there, something like that. I'd more so want our Busquets to be somewhere ahead trying to get on the ball in this situation. So anyway, Ansu Fati has it here on the left-hand side. Back to Ndombele. Plays it across to Guardiola into Gabi. Gabi to Ndombele. It works. Mukoko. Haaland. Over. 66% possession. Now down to 64. Still dominating the game in that perspective, but we're not creating clear chances, and they seem to be creating some against us. But I think a lot of their XG is headers from corners, really. So they're not really creating many chances. It's more set pieces, really. They're going to get one here, though, and still Makers goes in. Leao. Calamitous, offside. Halftime, going to say happy with the possession. Right, let's test something. We can test things here because we're so far ahead we're already qualified in the Champions League anyway. This is like a free game. There's no games for months. There's no point resting players either. So I'm just going to go with central forward attack. Let's do no stay wider. Let's do these two and leave everything else the same as if he was a Mazzala. So we need to take more risks. Right, okay. Okay, that's as close as a Mazzala can be, except the fact he does not have stay wider on. So let's see how the tactic does with that one change. I do want to look at the left back as well eventually, but I think let's just test it as it is, but with one change. And let's test out how that plays for the rest of the game. Obviously, AC Milan are going to come out at some point and be more aggressive because they're losing, so we need to factor that in as well. But right now, let's just see the isolated change. I'm going to try not to change anything else in this game, regardless of what happens, just to see how this plays. And let's go even one better. Let's go to comprehensive here and watch this. Pedri's gone down to 6.4, which isn't good. But, right, okay, where are we? Let's get Pedri on. So the same sort of scenario. So he's staying slightly wider. More central. Right, he's got the ball in the central area. Now, that's an interesting development. Okay, he's going to play a 1-2 with Fati by the looks of it. Fati's going to take over Gabi. Pedri, Haaland. Not good. Guardiola, Pedri. Pedri into... Oh. Absolutely rubbish. Pedri's just going through like a bad run of form here. Mukoko gets it. He's going to play it straight to Lazari. Okay. Bit of overlap from Dani Alves. He's going to get onto it and hopefully doesn't cross it. It's actually a good ball. And Pedri probably should have done better. Pedri getting hammered in this game, mate. I love Pedri, but he is not playing the best, is he? Pedri's going to stay in here. I'm just looking at Pedri because he's the one we've changed. But defensively, I don't really care, to be honest, what he does. I'm just looking purely in possession. So, central for attack. He stays more central, but he's still screened and does nothing, right? So, frustrating. Zala supports. Right. Change. And I don't like this, by the way. I hate the way this is looking currently from a support and attack duty. Although I don't look at this normally. I don't. But double support, double attack here, and an attacking striker. I feel like it's going to be too stretched, but we'll see. We're going to go Mazzala support, inside forward attack. I know I said I wasn't going to change it, but I've seen enough within 10 minutes to know that it's just not going to work with the rest of the tactic remaining the way it is. So let's see how Pedri does. And Pedri's going to stay on the entire game, I think. We'll change Gavi on this side as well with this change. Play here. Pedri gets onto it, plays it back to Ndombele. Ndombele back to Gvardiol, who's going to stay on it and give it to Likovic. Play the right centre back. Okay, don't punt it back to the way it came. Right, you're pissing me off, Likovic. Right, let's take that off. As they can see their attack on the left-hand side, Theo Hernandez has it. So the left back is going to whip the ball in. Far post, headed over. Out for the back then. Gvardiol gets it, plays it across to Lacroix. Straight in, should have been quicker. Terrible, absolutely terrible Lacroix. I don't understand why this is happening sometimes. Like, that just seems such an easy thing to do. Okay, Lacroix gets it again. We are just hopeless in this game. I can assure you off camera, it looks a lot better than this. Okay, I thought this was a dead highlight because I made that change that I just said about Galeno coming on. And it wasn't, it turned up scoring from this. So De Jong had it. Lazari then on the right-hand side, which was a long build-up. I thought it was just a dead highlight because it was corner. I just thought the corner was the highlight, it was dead. Lazari across, Erling Haaland back to Lazari. It's a combination play. Eventually goes to Ansu Fati, who scores, and he's about to come off on a good match rating then. I can come off and Sarai can go on last change. So De Jong has it, gives it away. Moukokko's going to press along with the striker here. AC Milan get themselves out. Are we going to win this? Force it in behind. They're through 1v1. Oh, 2-1. AC Milan have a throw and they get the ball to the left-hand side. Back to the goalkeeper. I'd seriously be contemplating just going with 10 players, telling the keeper to come and sit on the bench with the goalkeeping coach. They can figure out exactly why he's doing this every time. I like here, De Jong and Holly going to combine. Galeno back to Pedri. Away. The last highlight of the game is they're going to go through. De Jong now gets it to Pedri to Galeno. And this is probably going to be the end of the game here. I don't think it's going to be a real highlight. I think we're going to have maybe like a chance. And that'll just probably be the end of it, I would have thought. As Haaland gets it, places Moukokko, goes through. Can't really shoot from there. Goes back to Lazari. Whips it in. Galeno. Over. That's going to be the end of the game, I think. Boys, well done. We've already looked at the stats really for the season, so I don't want to go back into that again. We've already looked at that before we did the games in this episode, so we won't go back through that. Just some general thoughts, I think, on the tactic. So a lot of it looks pretty good. There's a couple of problem areas. I think the left back is definitely one. I think Pedri's role, the Iniesta, was actually okay. It was just a byproduct of what I was testing there. But I think that one is actually fine. But I think the left wing role potentially, definitely the left back role is still a problem, and definitely the pivot role, trying to get that completely playing the way we want to, is becoming very difficult to get a good Busquets role. And I think going forward in order of importance, I think that the left back role has to be better, because against teams in Europe like that, you're just losing that player in the final third and to help contribute to the attacks. And it just ends up meaning that you're slightly better at defending the counter, but you don't get as many overloads. And I think to create some good chances, we need some more of those. So that might have to go up to like a support duty, maybe an attack duty of some sort. I'm going to keep looking at the left back role. And then next, we're definitely going to look at more the deep line playmaker role, which I'm still not quite sure what to do with that, or how, if it plays as a half back, what we need to change to get the best out of that and some of the stuff around it. But that's sort of, the most ideal Busquets role would be like half of a half-back and then half deep line playmaker defending the way that they move. That's sort of be the ideal, but one or the other is what we're left with. And that's going to be the way things currently stands. That's going to be it, and we'll take this into the next half of the season. Finances look incredible, despite the fact we're in loads of debt. Why is the net debt gone up? We're making profits, aren't we, each month? We're not, but we have enough of a cushion where it's not going to matter. We've done so well with our transfers. We really did do good, didn't we? Look at this. No transfers in, that isn't quite right, is it? But the back end of last season, which is how it's counting, we just did a very, very good job of the players we brought in for the prices. To get Erling Haaland for 72 million was just incredible. Livakovic, starting goalkeeper, 7.5 million, these are incredible transfers. Gvardiol, I've never got Gvardiol and Haaland for that cheap before, I don't think. Definitely not Gvardiol. In terms of transfers, I'm not too bothered about making any. I know that if we lose Gaia long term, that'll probably cost us the Champions League, because Saraki isn't good enough to be, I think, that sort of top level wing back in the Champions League, so we could look at an attacking left back. But I sort of, within this save, was trying to make it as realistic as possible. Like, I think in this scenario, you'd have to cut corners somewhere in your squad to sort of to try and save the money. Although in real life, buying Ferran Torres for 55 million isn't exactly that, is it? So, not entirely sure where we go next with our transfers. Probably another left back would be ideal, and another winger. Galeno and Martins, we could sell them both to bring in one. And Adeyemi, I'm not as big of a fan of Adeyemi as most other people have been on this FM and last FM. I just never find him to be as effective. Like, I think there's much better players you can get, but on this one, he has been brilliant, and he's really developing like other people seem to get him to develop. So he's worked for me in this one, and he probably should be the starter, but I've given him a couple of chances, and he doesn't quite do the same as Moukoko. So same for him, really. Moukoko, I never really have him develop for me as good as he does for other people, but this is the kind of tactic where he should. They both should. Both left-footed, both young, both going to play on the right-hand side, so it's perfect, really, isn't it? I did originally think that Haaland might have to move out there, and he's got 16 dribbling. I'm so tempted to do it, but we need to get a world-class striker. If I can get Alexander Isak, who I think is brilliant on this game, I'd play him up front, play him on the right-hand side probably, and Haaland would be our Messi, left-footed, and he's as quick as Messi. Doesn't quite dribble, isn't quite as agile, but is there much difference there? Not really. Is there much difference there? Not really, so, I don't know. Flair 11, what's his flair? I don't know. I'm not sure. We'll see. We'll see what we want to do with that. But yeah, that's going to do it. Hope you're enjoying the series. It does seem like people are still enjoying it, despite the fact I had to stop for a month or so. So really, I'm happy to see everybody's enjoying it. Please feel free to comment any thoughts you've got. I love interacting with people. It's always good. Good to see you. It's always good to read everybody's comments. And yeah, with that being said, thank you very much for watching. We will come back for the Super Cup semi-final because we lost this last year to Madrid, I think 4-1. It was bad. I remember it being bad. Yeah, 4-1. I think I remember seeing it like recently, looking through some of the stats of previous seasons. So yeah, we're going to come back for that game there. We'll just miss the one game against Huesca, which nobody's going to be bothered about. We'll come back for that one as maybe like an extended version of the game, and yeah, watch that to its conclusion. And that is going to do the video. Thank you very much for watching, and I will see you next time.